Hey there viewers, thank you for tuning in to Supermariodiagnostics. Once again, I've got a 2003, I believe, Volvo V70. Customer's complaint is that he installed a brand new battery and the next day it's dead. And that's the reason why he changed the battery in the first place, because every morning he would crank it up and it dies. And apparently if he catches it within 24 hours, it will be a hard start, but it would start. So he thinks there's a drain going on, and that's what I'm geared towards. I've already done a couple of things. I've opened up all my doors, the hood, the trunk, and closed all the latches in order for the car to fall asleep. I took out the key from the ignition and set up my alarm. Service information says to wait 20 minutes. I've waited my 20 minutes. My battery is right here in the back in the trunk. It's a brand new battery, and I've got my amp clamp set up there. And I wanted to rule out any kind of communication, so I've got my smart bulb here, courtesy of AES Wave. And just so you guys can see, the blue is what I'm controlling here from the bulb. So let me just put this here so you guys can see that everything is working. I'm on 4 and 16, that's power. You can see 12.5 right there. I'm going to disconnect it. I'm going to go to all my possible communication lines. No activity. I know there's a communication wire on pin 3. There's also CAN high and CAN low. Zero activity. CAN low. Zero activity. And onto my ISO. Zero activity. And down here as well, zero activity. Now mind you, if you turn on the LED, you may experience some change in voltage reading, so you want to keep that in mind. Right now I'm just turning on that LED. So something to keep in mind. I've ruled out any kind of awoken or kind of a non-asleep module. So we're going to continue on with our usual pulling fuses method. Just kidding. Voltage drop across fuse legs method. Okay, so I was having my doubts about what I was seeing on the scope. It was saying about 40 milliamps. But I wanted to confirm, so what I did is whip out my multimeter here to check it with the multimeter. I feel like I trust it more as opposed to the scope. And whoa, I did not see that before. That's a huge draw. And I haven't done anything to the car. I mean, nobody's touched it. So it seems like we got ourselves an intermittent draw here. Let me make sure I'm doing this right, because that's a lot. We should be able to catch that with a thermal imager. That much amperage. This is 100 millivolts per amp. So we saw there, what was it? I believe it was 2 volts. 2 volts. That's 20 amps. That's a huge draw. Huge. So I came to the front of the car, and guess what? Everything is off. And my blower is running. Interesting. My blower, I don't know, 20 amps for a blower. Let me just how is my blower running right now? Is the relay commanded on? That is nuts. Is there some kind of a strategy that I don't know about when a communication issue, a strategy? This makes me want to check my communication again. But I'm also going to check, I'm probably going to be checking that relay just to see if it's commanded on. I'm at a loss for words. This is a first for me. Blower motor stuck on. It came on by itself. And I was just about to film how I wasn't trusting that the 30 milliamp draw. Now I was worried about 30 milliamps. This is a 20. If I'm doing my conversion right, now I have doubts about everything. It's 20 amp draw. No way. That's too much. Okay, so I caught it in the act. Right now, it is silent. But as soon as I pinned into pin number 7, the blower motor turned off. And I just heard a relay click as well. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait this one out. And when I catch it again, I will be showing you exactly what I'm seeing. But it looks like we're going to have a module situation here because there's no relay. There's no relay for that blower motor. And it's all modules from there. So as soon as I get it, I'll put it on for you guys to see. Wow, so I finally did it. I finally caught it in the act. It took about half a day for it to happen. But let's take a look. We've got, I just want to take a look at when it started. We can see communication starts here. My scale is at 1 volt. It's hard to see the communication, but you can see that there's communication, and then all of a sudden the blower motor started rolling. It's on now, but let's see how much it's taking. Yep, 20 amps. That's a lot. According to service info, stuff like this is a module issue. The blower transistor, basically the speed control, is only doing what it's told. But on top of that, you know what? Fuse 26, as you can imagine, I've already had time to look up some things, is the climate control fan. So let's disconnect our blower motor and watch for a drop. Let me just grab a tool real quick. Now I'm disconnecting the blower motor fuse. I'm not disconnecting the module itself. So if I put in the fuse, it should come right back up. So there, our draw is gone. And then I'm gonna reconnect it, and it should pop back on again. And it sure did. So, and it just turned off. That's how intermittent it is. About every 12 hours, I don't know. Now, my question is that enough to cause a no start? What if this only happens once throughout the night? Is that enough to cause a no start? So I want to try to start it. I believe the customer said it was intermittent. It's not an everyday thing. So I'm going to try to start to see if that 20 amp draw for like what, 5 minutes I believe it was, or 10 minutes, was enough to kill our battery. Not this time, but we caught it in the act. I'm calling the module. There's no real input that would cause this blower motor to turn on that's outside of the control module. So if there was some kind of an input outside of the module that can cause the module to turn on the blower motor or to communicate when it shouldn't, I would be worried about that, but I'm calling it. Real quick, I just figured this would be a good opportunity to explain what we're seeing here. Right now, the car has been sitting for about 10-15 minutes. I let it go to sleep. This is my pin number 7. So it's the same wire I've been looking at this whole time, I believe. Either way, the can and this one somewhat resemble each other, but nonetheless, the car is asleep. I'm going to turn on my ignition switch and watch for the communication there. Alright, so my ignition switch is on. We can see right here that we have some activity. So let's zoom in on that. And this is what we were looking at before. It almost looks like little tiny little I guess you could say spark lines without the spark, the firing KV line. But really, I just wanted to show you what's going on with this here. I'm going to zoom out, bring my scale up to 5 volts, and I'm going to connect my little Bluetooth scanner. And you can already see voltage has changed, and we have an actual packet here. The video, right before I cut it, I did not have any scanner connected. And this is what we're used to seeing, CAN communication, right? But what you were seeing before was not to the scanner. It was just the car itself. But as you can see that when I had the key off and everything was asleep, it was a dead line. There was no activity whatsoever. As soon as I turn on the key, you can see a little bit of activity. And then when I turn on my scanner, you can see these CAN data packets. See? So just wanted to explain that real quick, because I know that can be confusing at times. You're looking at something and you're like, wow, that doesn't look like a data packet. But I didn't want to have the scanner connected. I didn't want to interfere in any way. Just to be 100%, I hope this helps somebody, because it's good to know that you're not going to see CAN data packets unless your scanner's communicating with the vehicle.